Nutrition in plants. Introduction. All living organisms, despite their great diversity in shapes and sizes, show similarity in their activities. They all have to eat, digest their food, derive energy, remove waste materials from their bodies, respond to their environment, and produce more of their kind. These basic activities, which all living organisms perform, are known as life processes. For performing these life processes and building their bodies, living organisms require energy. This energy is gained from the food. Cells. Just as a building is made up of bricks, similarly, the body of living organisms is made up of tiny units called cells. Cells are too small to be seen with naked eyes. Each cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary called cell membrane. Most cells have a distinct and centrally located spherical structure called nucleus. The space between the nucleus and the cell membrane is filled by a jelly-like fluid called cytoplasm. Some organisms are made up of single cells only. For example, amoeba. Other organisms are made up of number of cells. Example, man. Nutrition. The process of taking in food and its utilization by the body is called nutrition. Carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, etc. are some common nutrients found in food. The process of taking in food and utilizing it for various life processes is known as nutrition. Modes of nutrition. Living organisms show two modes of nutrition. They prepare their own food. They take in ready-made food, either from plants or animals. Autotrophic nutrition. It means nutrition by self. The mode of nutrition in which an organism prepares its own food from simple substances is called autotrophic nutrition, and the organisms which obtain food by this mode are called autotrophs. Green plants prepare their own food. Heterotrophic nutrition. It means nutrition from others. The mode of nutrition in which an organism obtains food from other organisms is called heterotrophic nutrition. The organisms which obtain food this way are called heterotrophs. They get their food either from plants or animals. The pitcher plant and the Venus flytrap are such plants which eat insects. These plants are called insectivorous plants. Based on their eating habits, animals are divided into three categories. Herbivores. Animals that eat only plants are called herbivores, for example, cow. Carnivores. Animals that eat flesh of other animals are called carnivores, for example, tiger. Omnivores. Animals that eat both plants and flesh of other animals are called omnivores, for example, man. Autotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. Green plants prepare their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Let us find out. Where does this process take place in the plant body? What are the raw materials which the plants use to prepare their food? What is synthesized during the process? Where does photosynthesis occur? Mostly in leaves. Leaves are the food factories of plants. In some cases, in young stems and branches which are green. Leaves contain green-colored material or pigments called chlorophyll inside their cells. Role of a leaf in photosynthesis. 1. Presence of small pores generally on the lower surface. Through these pores, carbon dioxide enters the leaf. These pores are called stomata. 2. Presence of chlorophyll containing cells. Chlorophyll is necessary as it traps energy from sunlight. Without chlorophyll, photosynthesis will not take place. Raw materials required. Green plants require 4 things to prepare their own food. These are carbon dioxide, absorbed from the atmosphere through stomata present on the leaf surface. Water, absorbed from the soil through the root system and transported to the leaves by pipe-like structures, in parentheses, vessels, which run throughout the plant body. Chlorophyll, present in the leaf, and light, coming from the sun. The leaves absorb sun's energy and store it in the form of food. What is synthesized during photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, food is synthesized along with the release of oxygen. Photosynthesis summarized. Carbon dioxide plus water along with light and chlorophyll gives carbohydrates plus oxygen. In this process, the presence of starch, a carbohydrate, is regarded as an evidence of photosynthesis. Importance of photosynthesis parts. In the absence of photosynthesis, life would be impossible on the earth because there would be no food available. In the absence of food, the survival of living organisms will not be possible, as all organisms are directly or indirectly dependent on food made by plants. Oxygen would not be released in the atmosphere, and it is essential for the survival of all living organisms. Photosynthesis maintains the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. Non-green plants are heterotrophs. Since they lack chlorophyll, they cannot prepare their own food. These are parasitic plants, saprophytic plants, symbiotic plants, and insectivorous plants. Parasitic plants or parasites. A heterotrophic plant which obtains its food from other living plants or animals is called a parasitic plant. The plant or animal that provides food for a parasite is called the host. Parasitic plants. Parasites may be total or partial. Dodder or umberbale, in parentheses, cuscuta, is a total parasite. Mistletoe is a partial parasite. This plant has green leaves and can synthesize its own food, but it receives water and minerals from the host plant on which it grows. Saprophytic plants or saprophytes. The plants which live and feed on dead and decaying organic matter are called saprophytic plants. For example, some bacteria and some fungi like mushrooms are saprotrophs. Symbiotic plants. In lichens also, symbiotic relationship is seen. There is an association between a green alga and a non-green fungus. The fungus provides shelter, water, and minerals to the alga. The alga, in return, provides food to the fungus. The alga, being green, prepares food by photosynthesis. Insectivorous plants. There are some plants which feed on small insects. These are called insectivorous plants. These plants also perform photosynthesis to get their nutrients. In order to meet their heavy nutrient intake, they feed on insects. Some common examples of insectivorous plants are pitcher plant. The hollow leaves of pitcher plant are filled with a fluid which the insects come to drink. When an insect sits on the pitcher, the lid gets closed and the insect is drowned and eaten by the pitcher plant. Sundew plant. The leaves of sundew secrete a kind of fluid that glitters in the sun like dewdrops. When an insect sits on the leaf, it gets entangled in the sticky fluid. Venus flytrap. The leaves of Venus flytrap are like a trap. It can close suddenly when an insect sits on them. Sources of plant nutrients. Plants need a variety of minerals and elements for carrying out life functions. These are absorbed from the soil by the root system and carried to the stems, branches, and leaves. The mineral sources are air, soil, and water. Mineral sources of plant nutrients. Air, carbon dioxide, oxygen. Soil, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, boron, copper, cobalt, molybdenum. Water, hydrogen dissolved metal in ionic form.